Hey Bert, great to have you back here.
Hey man, how
Hey
are
man.
you?
Tired as always, and as you know, in the community, everything is happy and everything is great.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Bert, we have all these amazing events coming up around Experts Live, especially in Netherlands. I'm happy you give me a speaker slot there. And as someone who at some point started speaking on those events,
Mm-hmm.
again often asked, how can I start speaking at events? How can I learn that? What do I need to bring uh, as a speaker? And I think we already proposed it in one of our previous videos to share our experiences, to share what
Sure,
we how
sure.
we started. So what do you think?
So the easiest way to start is if you have something we in the Netherlands call a wheelbarrow. Someone else in the community that knows you, that knows your aspirations, that you want to speak, and gives you a chance to maybe co-host a session. That is by far the easiest way to start because then that person already has some experience, already has his own network of maybe events. I think one of the tips I can give there is don't try to start too big. Where did you start?
I started. I started as a way too big event.
Okay.
I've started on a Dell Road show where I
Mm-hmm.
also met Carsten Rafa, so who
Okay.
became my
Okay.
mentor then.
Mm-hmm.
But it was already in front of 50 people or more,
Okay.
and I
Wow.
was pretty young, and I
Mm-hmm.
was very nervous. It was a topic I was not feeling well with, and my performance was horrible. It was really horrible, to be honest.
Okay.
And but what I noticed there is it's fun to speak in front of people,
Mm-hmm.
and Karsten seeing me performing, there was a lot of great feedback, and also from the audience feedback coming back how I can improve.
Okay.
And to be honest here, I'm totally with you. If I would be able to restart, if I would to choose my event I needed to speak in front, I would choose
Mm-hmm.
for a small one. Afterwards, for example, I went to bar camps, I went to local communities with only a handful of people,
Mm-hmm.
trying out my slots, talking about a topic I had a passion for,
Mm-hmm.
where I was the expert in the room and where I could tell with. But even from that point on, it was a long way to go. And 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 it was finding my style
True.
and finding how I want to speak, how I want to transport that knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I was on your slots in the past, so promise at first, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's
Mm-hmm.
really try to start small. Even if you're a great speaker in front of a class, in front of a school audience, or in front of your colleagues, being in front of others you don't know, it's totally different because you're looking
True.
into the crowd, you're seeing reactions, and you may be seeing good reactions, but you're
Mm-hmm.
also seeing something like what he's telling there. And you maybe have also people who want to disturb you, like I'm doing with Karsten all the time, or with you.
True. True.
uh,
No, that's very true. I mean, if you do this kind of in a corporate protected environment, people tend to be interested in what you're saying because it inflicts in their way of working. If you're going out there and go in front of a group that you don't know, and you're not used to talking like people in those kinds of groups, this is by far the biggest distraction to man. People are on their phone, and you might even get a glimpse of them being in WhatsApp instead of making notes. Um, you hear people sighing at the end of a sentence you just thought was your most brilliant remark in the whole session. And that does something with you if you're not a trained speaker.
right.
Yeah, the first thing that will go through your mind is, did I say that correctly? And that can disturb your entire flow in a session.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure, but did you have any like formal presentation training before you started, or?
Only in school or when I was in company training, but it's different from when you're presenting in front of community, in front of crowd. So in the first place, I've started like I learned it, presenting facts, presenting drafts, presenting drawings, and it was just pushing knowledge out there, bam, 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 bam. But I noticed that wasn't interesting for my audience on those conferences I was speaking. So it was mostly community, it was Express Live, it was hybrid conference, it were bar camps, user groups, and I said, okay, it's not, they're here for the facts, but they're also here for the entertainment.
Very true.
Pushing out the fact wasn't my style. I'm a storyteller. I want to make jokes. I want to bring describe things in a different way, like explaining Azure in Lego, for example. And that is this storytelling, making a joke, maybe also engaging with the audience. Finding someone within the audience. Often you know people. So when you're talking once or twice in the same communities, you know people, and people will go to your slots more often, just to see your performance. And as you know, events like Experts Live, it's like meeting family. And you will always have someone from your family in your session, so you can use him or her to interact and talk and getting his feedback, and maybe doing a joke on his costs or getting a joke on your costs, and making that really entertaining. And with that, transporting your knowledge, transporting your passion about something, and that will improve, or that will give your audience also more. If it's only hard facts, if it's only uninteresting things, they will not learn from. They will not remember your session.
No.
It's like everything else you can read on the internet. It's the entertaining part brings. Oh, there was this funky little guy who told me about it. It was that joke together with, and that stays in your mind. So that's my style of presentation. I know there are people who are different. There are a lot of presentation styles, but mine is storytelling.
Yeah. Cool. And you just made the reference to family. Now, in your family, there's also, and we all have this one, the uncle that knows better, right?
It's normally me.
Yeah. So how do you cope with a smart aleck in your session?
Don't let disturb yourself. Go with him. And what I had really extremely smart and strong Alec, and I said, okay, my friend, let's wait. Let me just finish, and then come over to me. Come to my microphone. Let's discuss that on stage. That's the hardest thing. And it's really to engage with him. Get him as your co-peer, and that helps. He feels better because you recognize him as the smart one. He will, from my experience, he will not disturb that much and try to trigger you, to anger you, to destroy your flow.
Yeah.
And at the end, you can make him your partner, your friend in crime, getting his knowledge, transporting more. But it's, to be honest, that's the highest class of speaking.
True.
That's even with the most experienced speakers doing their slots for several times, 100 times. If they have a small Alec, it can still be hard for them.
True. I know internally at Microsoft, you have like an excellent trainer, which always gives you like a surprise in a session. I heard about a technical session where he comes up and will ask you about the length of the tail of a beaver. Always be prepared for something like that, but never just push it away, or even worse, make fun of someone with such a question. But that's all when you are lucky enough that you get a speaker slot. At Experts Live in the Netherlands, we also do a speaker training for people who are really novice. Please come and enjoy an evening with us. We'll get you fed, give you dinner, and also give you a 101 on being a speaker. And the fun thing is that even really experienced people like Ronald Bekelaar will show up every time. He hasn't missed one. And I think Ronald is one of the best speakers we have in the Netherlands. But again, that means that you're accepted as a speaker already. And we also have a stage before that. There's something called a call for sessions or a call for papers. Or how do you? Well, you're of course a super famous speaker already, so people ask you to come and speak. But how can people engage with those call for sessions?
So
Any tips?
in the first place, monitor those communities. So normally there are shout outs on Twitter, etc.
Mm-hmm.
And you will see that. You will also see that through the MVPs. One thing I normally recommend before applying for those slots is really practice, practice, practice. I tend to change my speakings every year, not talking
Mm-hmm.
about one topic more than 1 year, and maybe only doing 5 to 8 times, but it's already practice. I trained it myself. I built the deck myself. I'm also able to do PowerPoint karaoke. So one of my most famous PowerPoint karaoke's was together with Raphael Körner at a large Microsoft conference, because
Mm-hmm.
one speaker was sick, and we just took one deck and totally made a PowerPoint karaoke out of that.
Okay.
And but the point is also, again, that's high professionally. You can take
Mm-hmm.
something and then talk about a totally different topic, but it's build your own deck, learn your deck, build your own demos, talk to your wife, girlfriend, family, friends, try to talk them through if
Mm-hmm.
they try to get their interaction, and talk to your dog. and
True. True.
and if they learned something from the session, it was good. Test your flow. And also, one thing I would always say, to never stop your flow, even if you missed a sentence or you missed the fact, don't go back. Go with the flow.
True.
Tell it next time or tell it afterwards in your Q&A. Never try to go back. That would totally ruin your flow. Practice enough. And also, we discussed it in our preparation. If you did that on small communities, you can also engage with you can contact these larger communities, these larger events, and say, hey, I know I'm a pretty new speaker, but I had that slot on the uh, PowerShell user group in Sao Paulo,
Mm-hmm.
or
Oh wow.
Pune, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Would it be possible to just give me a chance? And if you did that in smaller communities, maybe have also someone from the smaller communities saying, okay, that was an amazing slot,
Mm-hmm.
then your chance will become better.
True.
Or if it was a community where you're already meeting someone.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I got my first large speaker slots with Carsten's communities. He knew me from smaller ones. He knew how what I'm doing on my small events. So that, okay, that slot is amazing for my larger community. Here's your slot. Here's your chance. Submit that one.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really starting small, learning the people, engaging with those people, building your community. It's like we had with the MVPs. Build your community, talk
Yeah.
to your people,
Sure.
and then those slots will find the way to you. Don't think you're now a 1 year. You're here, you can speak, and then you get the large events. Even me, I'm not getting a slot on large Microsoft events because there's speakers from the product groups who know their product much better. So I'm normally a producer or something, but it's and even between us all, there's always a hard competition to get those slots. So and even if you're an amazing speaker, if there's someone with nearly the same topic who is more experienced, or is from a style perspective, from a speaker style perspective, more fitting to the conference, the organizers would choose for him, and that's totally okay. There's
Mm-hmm.
always an agenda. There's always a thought process behind. It's more business oriented. It's more IT pro. It's more dev. It's more casual, or
True.
that will always be part of the decision if you're a speaker. So if you don't get a slot, don't feel angered. Try it next time again.
So I'm heavily involved with Experts Live, the brand, and I think when this edition, this video of us will be published, I think the call for sessions for Experts Live the Netherlands will already be closed. But as a conference organizer, we also have a lot of automation nowadays in place. So I thought it would be nice just for people who are not there yet and maybe are aspiring speakers, just to give a little bit of insight on the organizer side of things. So from Experts Live the Netherlands, we have our call for speakers, and we do that through a platform, and that platform is called Sessionize.
Which is pretty common
True.
among communities. So if you're a speaker, you can also put yourself as there is a speaker as a public one to be seen, and also scroll maybe events in your region, and apply for slots if they're open ones. So yep.
Very good. Yeah. So you can, as a speaker, already pre-provision Sessionize with your sessions for that year, like Flo has told you. But from an organizer's perspective, we ask quite a lot of information. So also, when you're developing your talk and you get your timings right, and you get your humor in your session slides and make sure everything around that is fixed ahead of time, also think about all of these things, because more and more information is required. More and more people are getting into this speaking thing. And of course, organizers are always looking for the next best thing. So where do you stand out? Now, session title can be, of course, the best way to run your Azure Arc agent.
It must kick people. So it's like
Yes.
doing a YouTube video. You need to have a headline which brings people into your session. It must cover what you want to talk about, but it should maybe 10 ways to break Azure Stack HCI would be a good one to get everyone who is interested in how can I destroy things. But and then you're talking about Active Directory, which could break Azure Stack HCI, but
True.
it's not what the people expecting. When you look into a list, for example, I submitted Azure Virtual WAN and Azure Stack HCI better together at the edge. So it always gives you an idea. It's two products combined. Okay, it's talking about something around how can I combine them to build my edge network, to build my edge environment. And then there comes a description in. And as an organizer, you can now tell what you expect in a description.
True. Just the extended version of your title, basically. So what are you're going to discuss what kind of techniques, because here the next thing is what visitors will learn, and that's basically a bulleted list of your conclusions at the end. What have they learned? Format and such is not really important to me, but I see a new trend emerging. And I think that's also something to do with the state of how we interact as humans. We want to have quick satisfaction. When we go to Instagram, we want something new.
The TikTok generation.
The TikTok generation. So I now feel and sense a need for shorter sessions. And that's something we're experimenting with this year for the first time. We're going to have sessions of 25 minutes. So no context, no hello, I work for, I manage an environment of 25 million servers, I am the greatest in, and 15 minutes later, oh, we're going to talk about the topic. No, you go in, you sit down, this is the topic, this is what I encountered, This is how I handled it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Next session.
Just a short joke by side.
Hmm.
Did you know so normally some people like me
Yeah.
tend to overrun their session time. What do you
No.
what do you think was the longest time I overran a session?
Overran. So, okay. Let me think. Then you're already nervous because you know you're overrunning. It can't be more than half an hour?
1 hour.
No.
It was on the bar camp. It was on the bar camp together,
Oh,
co-speaking
God.
with someone, and we were talking and talking and talking. And no one even stopped us. They let us
Okay.
talking, and after 2 hours, we noticed, whoa, was it already 2 hours? Okay, now,
Okay.
guys, we maybe need to stop.
Yeah, yeah, maybe a good. Does anyone want to go home today?
And
Yeah, and
things,
that's one of the things we also stress in that speaker training, right?
yeah.
Uh, please be respectful to your other speakers and do time management.
And another thing, the session never ends after the session. It's
No,
like there will always be someone who wants to talk with you about the topic afterwards. Don't
true.
be rude and leave the conference directly after. Sometimes we need to do that
Mm-hmm.
because catching a flight and so on. But try to plan at least 30 minutes to 45 minutes to talk to your audience afterwards,
Mm-hmm.
because there will be someone from who wants to have a deeper talk, wants to go back to parts of the session discussing that.
True.
Leaving directly after is considered as rude.
Yeah. Very good. Very good addition. So we talked about calls for sessions. Start small. Try to be a co-session host if possible.
Watch other sessions.
Oh, okay.
Watch other sessions. Watch as much sessions as you can. And
On
when we
YouTube?
start on YouTube, or visit those events, visit the free events if you cannot afford buying tickets.
Mm-hmm.
Because as at even we, Bert, we are testing our sessions normally in local communities
True.
because we want to test our flow. And there will be, especially with when you see experienced speakers, they would do their slots a lot of times. And
Mm-hmm.
if you have a local community having those experienced speakers, just go for it and go in. Normally on those large events, it's a bit more extended. It's
Mm-hmm.
a bit deeper. We are giving our best, or we're not trying too many things.
Mm-hmm.
But it's normally really good to understand, find your own style, testing your own style, maybe see how others handle. And
True.
that's watching things. Don't watch the ones from, let's say, people like Mark Rosinovich, etc. Often those are scripted. They're
Mm-hmm.
getting their slides, they're training, they have their scripts, they maybe have a prompter to talk, they can read through. Really look for Aidan Finn, Bert Wolters, Damien Flynn doing their sessions, because they're normally honest. They're talking their stuff through, and uh, on those, on their topics, and they're often a joke or just also engaging with the audience.
True. And then can you do can you redo sessions? How do you feel about those?
It depends.
Hmm.
I'm I also redo sessions,
Okay.
but I don't do sessions too often. I try to change a few things, tweak around. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
no session will be like the other, even if it's the same topic. You normally tweak around, or you see, okay, that's more interesting for my audience, so I go deeper into that one. Okay, that's not so interesting. That's
All right.
much faster. But what I personally don't like, and it's my personal opinion,
Mm-hmm.
doing the same slot for 10 years and not changing everything because it's a topic which always kicks. It's just, there are speakers out there. I know it's like pushing the play button and everything is the same. It's 5 to 10 years and it's the
Yes.
same flow, and it's just boring.
The 2023 edition. The
Yeah.
2024 edition.
Yes, if you're getting always slots, it's fine, but I don't know if it's it wouldn't please myself. I really like to
Mm-hmm.
talk about new things. I like to
Sure.
change things, and also enjoying not only talking about tech stuff. So, for example, session I submitted to the Express Live is
Mm-hmm.
how community can help you through hard times. Why
Okay.
community is important.
Mm-hmm.
So, as you know, Bert, we discussed that everything in our world looks shiny, awesome,
Of
great,
course.
but no one sees the person behind. No one sees if you're having depressions. No one sees
Mm-hmm.
if you're having personal problems, like me going through a divorce, separated from one of my sons, etc. So no one sees that. No one sees the
Mm-hmm.
emotional traumas we carry because we are these live shiny persons in social media. And sometimes it helps yourself
Mm-hmm.
and your audience to lean back, listen to how you saw those, how you see community,
Sure.
how it helped you to those hard times, and say, even we as your shining speakers carry our burden, carrying our packages. So
Mm-hmm.
don't feel bad if you're seeing us shine. It's just sometimes we are wearing a mask. We're wearing a custom for you.
True.
We are actors,
We are
basically.
living the dream flow.
Yeah, we're living the dream, my friend. Um, but and we know a lot of people, Bert, who
Sure.
had personal trauma, who
Mm-hmm.
and still standing there doing the job for the companies. And it's important for yourself as a speaker. It's you need to find your way. Is it can you act? So let me say 6 months ago, I wouldn't have applied for a slot.
Mm-hmm.
Never, because I wouldn't have been able to act live on stage more than an hour and tell everyone everything is good.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I, I can still not say everything is good, but I can now be back live on stage, even carrying my trauma. And that's, we are all people. And
True.
as I said, in part, speakers, actors. My friend,
Yes, sir.
asking you again as an organizer, when you're going through all these sessions, how
Mm-hmm.
many sessions do you get for such a large event?
Okay, so for Expert Live in the Netherlands, we have about 50 to 60 slots available. And last time we had over 400 sessions. And we are very lucky. We selected a few volunteers from the community. Um, People working in IT, people working in management, people working all over the place, the broad community of Experts Live, to do the selection process within Sessionize. And again, that is heavily automated. Someone from our committee, to make it sort of official, gets to choose from 3 sessions at a time, and then they pick the session that would fit most from that 3. And they go through a lot of cycles of 3 sessions. And in the end, when I think in the total committee there are about 12 to 15 people, all people go through all the cycles. Then we have a ranking, and the top 50-ish get selected.
And when I'm speaking at an event, so not only becoming
Mm-hmm.
a speaker, um, what I was struggling with, or what still struggling with,
Mm-hmm.
is cost coverage. So some
Oh yeah.
events, so uh, as with the large events, mostly your hotel and evening dinner, etc., is covered.
Yeah.
With
Flights even sometimes.
even sometimes large conferences,
Yeah.
larger than Experts Live.
True.
So
Yeah.
Inspire, um, other large conferences from corporation, if they're
Mm-hmm.
inviting you as a speaker, and that's really inviting, not call for
True.
papers, they often also cover your travel costs.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're speaking, and if you want to speak, if you're not having a company paying for that, it's always an investment. And Bert, we both know we especially when we're pre-MVPs,
Mm-hmm.
we made that investment ourselves.
True.
And at some points it's paying out, at some points not, but consider it as a vacation with friends.
Yeah.
If you're enjoying staying with your friends, having dinner, talking to people you, especially after the pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
you didn't see that much, it's maybe an investment you want to take. So
True.
for me, for example, even Microsoft is not covering my travel, but I
Mm-hmm.
have a company car. So I said, okay, I will take the long hour drive to Erfurt,
Yeah.
the Netherlands, Prague, if I'm selected,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and just drive that, plan that, maybe do something in addition, take another day of vacation in the area,
Mm-hmm.
and then just do it because it's my option to see my friends.
So you're not becoming a rich man doing conferences.
Not every conference is paid.
Mm-hmm.
It's not to make money. It's
No.
really being there, standing in the crowd. Yes, you can get or I don't, as a speaker. I was on a conference. I was there, and as a freelancer, or if you're even for a company, you're presenting yourself, you're presenting your knowledge, and maybe there's someone in the audience says, "I need you for my project. I
Sure.
need you to have you there."
Yeah.
That happens quite often, to be
Mm-hmm.
honest. So you maybe get some kind of charge back from
True.
those things, but don't think speaking there brings you any money. It's a plus. It's a
True.
benefit if it happens. But the
But
major
on
benefit is seeing your friends.
but on Instagram, I will only post the picture on the airport, the picture of the hotel, the picture on stage, and not the picture of the bill I'm paying with my credit card.
Right. Again, everything is light and shiny. And that's also very important to sometimes talk about the downsides
Sure.
being that shiny person. It's really not everything is shiny in these speaker words. It's as I said, we are actors, and at some point, no one sees how we what's behind things we're doing.
True.
And especially, I can tell you, I need to arrange with my small one. So I'm normally alone with my small one, with my small one. I will. My ex-wife will be on vacation during Experts Live in the Netherlands, so I need to bring someone with me,
Mm-hmm.
taking care of my kid,
True.
and then taking care of myself after my session. So that's that's it, and that's one thing you maybe also need to take into account. So Bert, any last famous words?
I'm just thinking it through. We covered how to get recognized, how to stand out with your session proposal, how to start, and don't expect to be filthy rich after doing two conferences. So I guess we covered it from all angles.
That brings us to hopefully not everyone will withdraw for any sessions proposals afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
After we being brutally honest,
Mm-hmm.
I think we are through. Thank you so much, my friend, and don't forget to subscribe. You didn't subscribe for your channel, my friend. So
Oh
also
no,
for the
I will.
audience, subscribe, ring the bell. Happy to have you here on the next one. Propose anything on a new topic you like, and also interact with us in the comments. Tell us about your experiences. Tell us if we are totally wrong with our impressions, and we are happy to also have you here in talk like we did, interacting with you, training your speaker skills, and sometimes trying things without any script. Then, bad my friend, have a great one to the
Thank you,
audience.
Flo. See you
See you
next
next
time.
time.